pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of Bowling Green City Council. Amy, would you please call the roll?
Osbacher,
Here.
Harold,
Here.
Hollenbaugh,
Here.
Jeffers,
Here.
Robinette,
Here.
Roland,
Here.
and Zanfordino.
Here.
The minutes from the meeting that was held on June 17th, 2019 were presented to council prior to this meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to these minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. The minutes are approved as presented. Amy, do we have correspondence this evening?
Yes, we do. A listing of budget transfers was received from Finance Director Brian Bouchon and distributed to you prior to the meeting for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve the budget transfers?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. The budget transfers are approved as presented. Special recognitions. Mr. Mayor, I do believe we have a couple of special recognitions this evening.
Have at least one. We were planning another very special recognition, in fact, a swearing-in ceremony tonight for two new fire lieutenants. But as you probably know, as I found out from just got home and turned on Channel 13 and getting reports there from the Bureau of Criminal Investigation there. There's been kind of high anxiety times there, but I think things are fairly well under control. But we've decided to, the Chief Mormon has really been tied up. And so we're going to delay these, the swearing-in ceremony of our two new lieutenants. But we do tonight have a proclamation. And are there any members of the park board here? Are you representing Kristen, huh? Did we work them too hard on Tuesday night at their park board meeting? Grass or no grass? Well, I do have a proclamation here, and it's we do this every year, and we declare really Parks and Recreation Month for the month of July. And I think we know from the activities of our park system, something that we cherish in this community a great deal. A high visibility program, maintains a lot of interest not only within the community, but throughout the region. And these last few days, we've certainly been seeing a lot of activity over at the city park and the pool. And fortunately, we've no little incidents going on over there that would keep people out of the water. Okay. Well, you never know, right, Kristen? But no, it's something that we all share in a great deal of pride in our park system here, and they're very high visibility programs. And so I'm going to just read this for the benefit of Scout Troop 419 too. And Bob Fife has brought his scouts here tonight. Some of them will be going off to camp up in Pioneer, Ohio, and in the not too distant future. And I'm sure these scouts take full advantage of all the benefits of our park system, and that. So, for their benefit, we will read the whole thing. Okay, bear with me. Whereas parks and recreation activities enhance the physical health and mental well-being of individuals, workforces, and communities, and whereas participation in recreation programs builds self-esteem and provides positive and constructive alternatives to anti-social behavior. And whereas parks and recreation opportunities and open space enhance the desirability of communities as locations for business, industry, and residential housing. And whereas parks and recreation stimulates tourism, revenues, and the economic development of communities. And whereas parks and open space are vital to the appearance and livability of communities, protect air and water, and help balance the ecosystem. And whereas it is the right of everyone, regardless of age, race, color, religion, gender, ability, or national origin to participate in parks and recreation programs and activities and enjoy parks and open space. Now, therefore, I, Richard A. Edwards, Mayor of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio, do proclaim the month of July 2019 as Parks and Recreation Month in this municipality, and join with citizens of other communities throughout the great state of Ohio in recognizing that parks and recreation services are essential to the quality of life, not only in July, but throughout the whole year as well. So, Kristen, would you like to say anything on behalf of the park system before you get your allotted 2 minutes?
This is a national.
Very good. Now, I think we should recognize the members of the Park and Recreation Board. And I'm just going to read these names for the record here because these folks do a great deal of service for our community. They meet monthly, and usually their meetings are over within an hour, but this last week it ran a little bit over 2 hours, I suspect. So, but I'm grateful to these individuals, as I know members of council are, who appointed and conferred my recommendation for their appointment. We have Karen Rippey, John Lobbs, Jeff Crawford is serving as chair of the Parks and Recreation Board, Robin Veach, Linda Cubberley, Joni Anderson, Cale Hover, Monique Rosati, and our newest member of the board is Phil Simmons, who is following the footsteps of his father, who served for a number of, I think he was, back in the earlier part of okay, well, there you go. Okay. But I think he was served at least 2 full terms there in that. So I know you join with me in recognizing these individuals and express appreciation for their good service. Thank you so much, Kristen, for your good work. And you have it. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to lobby visitation. Jamie, has anybody registered for lobby visitations?
Yes, we have one this evening. Nate Eberly.
Nathan Everly, 907 Sandridge Road here in Bowling Green, Ohio. I've been told in the back that I need to keep this brief, as I think they've got plans for the wonderful weather out there. I'm coming to lobby visitation to address council this evening over reports that came out of the last committee of the whole regarding the proposed plastic bag ban and the legislation that's being put forth. It was reported that the section of the legislation regarding the sustainability board may be punted or otherwise kicked down the road, the can kicked down the road, as opposed to us moving forward with something that could be very solid and very positive for our community moving forward. There's several reasons why I think it's really important that we not let that slip by and not let that fall off from legislation. As I've said in the past, I'm not really a big fan of the plastic bag ban itself, but I think the legislation, especially the Sustainability Board, sets up the community for solid opportunities going forward to be a leader and continue on with what we have in the community with 40% sustainable energy and a growing portfolio there, more opportunities to become really a great example for Northwest Ohio, if not all of Ohio as a city. I think if we drop the Sustainability Board, we may lose momentum and opportunity. If we look at other commissions that are led by citizens, such as the Bicycle Safety Commission that was speaking today at the Transportation Committee, there have been plenty of opportunities and improvements to our community that have been led through such initiatives through committees in that regard. And I think if we lose the Sustainability Board, if we don't go forward strong with it to begin, we may again lose momentum and lose opportunities to hear from our community in regards to additional sustainability efforts to really promote our town as, again, a sustainable community and clean energy and clean process and less waste. I think it gives more opportunity for the sustainability coordinator to hear more from the community and be more equipped with ideas and opportunities to move forward. I think it's too big of a danger for our community to say, it's too tough right now for us to go forward with this, or it's a burden. I think the opportunity and the benefits of this board as it was designed in this legislation that everybody's worked really hard on over the last few months, I think it's too important for us to let go. So as a citizen, BG, I just hope that it is considered more from the citizen side and the representative side to push forward with the sustainability board in strength as a part of the original legislation that was put forward from the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. I think it's fair to say on behalf of everyone on council that we are interested in developing some sort of sustainability group. What we're working on is what the structure of that may be, but I can assure that we will be proceeding with those efforts. Thank you. Is that all, Jamie?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Let's proceed to the introduction of new legislation. I have one ordinance from the Public Utilities Committee, an ordinance declaring official intent with respect to reimbursement of temporary advances made for capital expenditures to be made from subsequent borrowings and declaring an emergency. Next on our agenda are official reports. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and members of council and all assembled. And I've identified Troop 419, but would the Scoutmaster care to say anything? Is this part of a merit badge program tonight that you're here, and civic responsibilities, or?
Yeah, this troop is chartered by Bowling Green Alliance Church. And the troop is about 16 years old. We have about 15 members in this troop. One of the ways that Scouts advance is through earning merit badges, and one of those merit badges is citizenship in the community. And so one of the requirements of that is this fulfills one of those requirements. I like that. And if these Scouts want to become Eagle Scouts, that's a requirement for becoming Eagle Scouts.
Very good.
Thank you for allowing us to invade your meeting tonight.
Please, you're welcome anytime. And Scouts, we wish you all the very best. And I know, as I already identified, some of you will be going off for camp, and I hope you have a good experience, and keep working on those merit badges. And please feel free to come anytime and try to help us all have a better understanding of how local government functions. Thank you very much. Just a couple of quick items here. We all know that Firefly Night was a huge success, and I'm grateful to the Lori, to the administration for with working with the police and fire and all the numerous volunteers. It's a perfect weather night, and it was just truly outstanding. And even though we've had some disruptions of activity in the downtown area, it didn't seem to bother or dampen the enthusiasm of the participants in Firefly Night. We all know that just a little reminder though, but community fireworks is set for this Wednesday night at 10 o'clock approximately. I think they usually shoot off a few things a bit before 10, just to give everyone time to get settled in for the big show. And of course at 8 o'clock, I have to put a plug in for the Bowling Green Area Community Band, and also the big band jazz group too that will be joining with us on that occasion. But that will be at 8 o'clock at the Maletti Alumni Center, and there's lots of seating around there. It's very comfortable, very pleasant to join in there, and it's a nice way to sit back and relax and enjoy some good music in preparation for the boom time. So I wish I could report something positive coming out of Columbus. Here, it's been, I guess, a rough weekend down there because they were not able to come to any kind of conclusion about the budget bill, and now they have a 17-day extension there, a continuing resolution, and it appears that the House and the Senate are some degrees apart from each other, and that same view, attitude, so forth, set of complications is also carrying over to House Bill 6. And it was frustrating because I suspect, like some of you were doing, checking in over the weekend to see if we could get some rays of sunshine coming out of there and protecting our interests. But at last count, the Senate had more than 50 amendments to consider to the current substitute version of House Bill 6. And it's all, and in the Gongwa report or the Ohio Municipal League, I didn't really see the Gongwa report, I should clarify that, but the Ohio Municipal League in their legislative bulletin really identified the fact that now we'd like to see these things viewed separately, but now they're interconnected, and so we're not sure just exactly what is happening there. I should interject on one positive note here. President Osbacher and I had a chance to join with mayors and elected officials from different parts of Northwest Ohio here the other day at the Maumee State Park on Friday. And we had a chance to hear from Lydia Mahalik, the former mayor of Findlay. And she really is, we all know that she was working on a bipartisan basis while she was still mayor with the larger cities in Ohio, and trying to bring more attention to some of the difficulties experienced by small, medium, and in fact all cities of all sizes in the state of Ohio. And she really made it very clear that Governor DeWine has an entirely different attitude about local governments than his predecessor. Some of the programs that within her department, she's a cabinet officer now in the DeWine administration, and she's the director of the Development Services Agency, and it's an agency that's really spending the focus is on economic development and working with community development. And she made it very clear, I think, Mr. President, that there's no doubt that there is a change in attitude, and it's certainly welcome. All of us there in attendance, I think, appreciated what she had to say and gave us some hope. And that's why we're watching this budget bill so closely, as I know you are, because there are some elements in there that really reflect this change in attitude, and I hope they're going to stick there with the and some of those provisions and new programs, and that reflect the change in attitude toward political subdivisions, local government throughout the state of Ohio. So fingers crossed, let's hope for the best. That concludes my report, but if you have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them.
Questions for Mayor Edwards?
Mr. Mayor, Mayor Mahalik from Findlay, in her role with the State Development Agency, are there any connections with any particular developments we are working on or would like to work on?
Well, I can't. She identified, a number of programs that would help, especially in the area of community development, and new grant type programs that will be geared toward local community development. She quoted the governor as saying, "Oh yes, we represent state government, but state government is made up of political subdivisions of all." Population sizes and shapes and so forth throughout the state of Ohio. We're here to help them take care and do their business on a local basis. So, Mike, you might, you care to identify any particular program? I made a number of notes.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time coming up with anything. There were some things that she mentioned that
they're ingrained in the budget bill, I think,
Yeah.
and that's part of the.
There were some grant opportunities related to transportation that I thought were worthwhile looking into. So we'll get those notes together with the mayor, and we'll send those over to Lori and see if there's anything that we could pursue. Yeah, I like you, Mayor. I was encouraged to hear the tone of the Director of Development, and certainly reflective of what we hope is a new attitudes of cooperation between state government and local governments. The budget, I guess the way the budget turns out will be a good test to see if that spirit of transfer or of cooperation is transcending from the government or from the governor's office to the state legislature. Because as you're aware, there were provisions to restore a certain percentage of local government assistance in the original draft of the budget. So we'll all be watching closely to see how that all gets put together in the end, and we'll see. And one byproduct of that whole process, of course, it's a little pain on one side because our gas prices are started to go up today by at least 10, 11 cents. But they're earmarked exclusively for road improvements. So, and we all know you don't have to drive
very far in the state of Ohio to know that you can see a lot of what is mirrored here locally, what we've been trying to do and get caught up. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank
Appreciate it. Municipal Administrator, Ms. Treader.
Good evening. As Mayor Edwards mentioned, we are looking forward to the fireworks on July 3 at dusk. We do have several staff members who will be involved that evening. Our safety forces, in particular, will be out there. We encourage folks to maybe plan ahead a little bit, especially on your exit. If you look at our website or any of our social media, we have some exit strategy plans, so maybe they can position themselves well. The police just try to keep folks moving for the safety of everyone after those fireworks. And I always want to thank the chamber, for doing the hard work to put this all together. They do an excellent job. We have such a great relationship working together, and we hope to see everybody out there to listen to the community band and enjoy those wonderful fireworks. We almost don't even want to say the word, but there is a rain date, but we hope we don't have to use it. But just to have it out there, that is on July 5th, but we will hope to not be utilizing that. The other item I have for you is actually a resolution from another council. So if you'll indulge me to read this here, Brian O'Connell is absent, so I'm bringing this in his on his behalf. But this is from the city of Salina, and they sent a resolution to us expressing gratitude to the city of Bowling Green for their assistance through the American Municipal Power Ohio Mutual Aid Program. The city of Salina received extensive electric distribution loss as a result of an EF3 tornado on Monday, May 27th, 2019. As a member of American Municipal Power Ohio Mutual Aid Program, the city of Bowling Green willingly assisted the city of Salina personnel in restoring power and service expeditiously, and the city of Salina greatly appreciates the mutual aid provided by fellow members of AMP, and therefore they express their appreciation to the city of Bowling Green for providing the mutual aid. Of course, we were glad to help a fellow community. It is always our hope that we will never need this assistance, but it's nice to know that people have your back, and this is a way that we can pay it forward through this program. So we're very proud of being members of American Municipal Power. Our community has benefited greatly from that relationship, and we thought this was a very nice thing. So we'll pass that down the line. And that completes my report, subject to your questions.
Questions for Lori?
Thanks.
Thanks, Lori. Thanks for sharing that. We appreciate all the hard work of our utility workers every day, for sure. Planning Director, Ms. Saylor, not with us this evening. Parks and Recreation Director, Ms. Otley.
Didn't want Councilman Rowland to have another look of shock if I said no report. So, and it is July. So, quick reminder, with the holiday, some of our events do not occur as regularly scheduled. So there are no lunches and concerts this week. However, we do have our annual family picnic in the park that we partner with the Wood County District Public Library on, and that is tomorrow evening at 5:30 at the Martin Kiwanis Shelters. And families are invited to bring a picnic dinner. We'll provide drinks and dessert, and then the library will be there doing programming in relation to their summer reading program, which will be some astronaut training. So that sounds like a lot of fun. And then next week is, I just think this is so cool when I say this, the 58th, that's older than me, so that's really old, 58th annual pet show, because I'm getting up there now, but anyway, 58th annual pet show is next Wednesday, July 10th at 7 o'clock. And so I'll pass out these, and I don't make the flyers. So if you recognize somebody on there, I had nothing to do with that. And I'm very excited to announce that we will be beginning our community focus groups, as we did several years ago, in looking toward to 2020 and 2021. We'll be updating our master plan as well as some other things. So we want to stretch those out a little bit more and focus in on all of our parks and facilities and programs. We'll be getting those this fall, and this is why I'm really excited, Dr. Shannon Orr has agreed once again to facilitate those. So we'll be kicking those off in the fall. I'll be meeting with her very shortly, and I can tell you that our very first community focus group will be on Simpson Garden Park. So I just wanted to share that with you. So one of the council folks said, "Hey, periodically, can you update us on bicycle safety goings on?" And obviously, we had the transportation committee meeting prior to. But I did want to share with you, out of Bicycle Safety Commission's budget, we purchased an awful lot of these bike lights, and we have been giving those out. Dr. Langendorfer has distributed 60 so far. We have 300 and some odd more to go. So if anyone is in need of a bike light, I know Steve will be at the farmer's market next Wednesday. Is that correct? Yeah, the 10th. Yep. Handing out bike lights. And he came to our advanced safety town last week, along with one of our other commission members, our middle school rep. And they gave a presentation to our advanced safety town kids, and it was a big hit. And they all got bike lights when they left and actually installed on their bikes. So if you need a bike light, let us know. But our preference is that we actually put it on for you, because then we know it's on your bike. And this makes a huge difference in ride visibility as people are out there and about. So I did want to share that with you. And that is all that I have, subject to your questions.
Questions for Kristen?
I have one question, and I could probably look this up at your website, but I'm taking my grandson to the pool tomorrow, and I was wondering what hours are you open to just general admission? 1 p.m.
to 8:45-ish, depends.
Okay.
It's technically worded dusk.
All right.
But usually 9.
It's good I asked, because I was going to go at noon.
Yeah, go at 1.
Okay, thank you.
And hopefully it'll remain nice and hot. I say that, but
Thank you,
Thanks.
Kristen. City Attorney, Mr. Marsh.
Or I could just throw my weight around and try to get in.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Pet in the first pet show. 58 years. That's my report.
We need more information, Mike. It was a turtle. Okay. Eli Joyce. Dwight Perry. Really? Oh.
What was the turtle's name? Bill.
We appreciate that colorful local history. Are there any other questions for Mr. Marsh?
Is Bill still with us? Must not be. No.
Okay, poor Bill.
He'd
Should
be
we
big
have a
by
line
now.
for Bill?
Utilities Director, Mr. O'Connell, is not with us this evening. Public Works Director, Mr. Kraft. Questions for Mr. Kraft? Thank you. You didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you?
Yeah.
There's been good reporting on progress of street projects. We're all happy that they're moving towards completion. So, yes, thank you. That concludes our official reports this evening. Are there any council committee reports?
Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. Zanfordino.
This evening, at 6 o'clock, we had a meeting of the Transportation and Safety Committee. I think almost the entire Bicycle Safety Commission joined us, and we discussed a report that was provided to the committee from the Bicycle Safety Commission regarding prioritizing streets in the city for either sharrows or bike lanes down the road. I think we had a good meeting, and we have a couple of steps that came out of the meeting. So,
John, I would just comment, thanks to you and your committee for the good work, and thanks for Steve and your committee for all the good work. I was really impressed. I think that was a really good process that you went through to identify the streets that we should be looking at and establishing priorities for, improving bike safety and doing everything we can do, to encourage people to bike more. I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to work with the administration and come up with an aggressive plan of implementation. I think that, what you've done is set the stage for that, and I'm really eager to move forward with that. So thanks for all your great work. Are there any other council committee reports this evening?
Mr. President, just a reminder that the Planning, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee will meet at 6 p.m. on the 15th prior to our regularly scheduled meeting.
Great. Thank you. Look forward to that discussion as well. There are no more council committee reports. Will we move on to the reading of legislation? Jamie, would you please lead us through this?
Legislation for first reading. Ordinance number 8782, Ordinance declaring official intent with respect to reimbursement of temporary advances made for capital expenditures to be made from subsequent borrowings and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules and give ordinance 5782 its second and third readings.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jamie, would you please call the roll?
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Jeffers,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
and Osbacher.
Yes. The motion passes. The rules are suspended for ordinance 5782.
87.
I'm sorry. 87. What is it?
8782.
8782. 782. Thank you.
Legislation for second and third reading. Ordinance number 8782. Ordinance declaring official intent with respect to reimbursement of temporary advances made for capital expenditures to be made from subsequent borrowings and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules and give ordinance 8782 adopt an emergency clause.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jamie, would you please call the roll?
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Jeffers,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Osbacher,
Yes.
and Harold.
Yes.
Motion passes. The emergency clause is adopted for ordinance 8782. I now move to adopt ordinance 8782.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? I would just mention, my understanding of this legislation, it was presented at the Board of Utilities meeting, is this simply is a procedural matter that would allow the Board of Public Utilities to retroactively apply for financing for capital investments on, these would be large dollar projects, I would assume. They did not indicate that there was any intent to go back retroactively and borrow money for some of these projects that have already been paid for, either through cash on hand or on either financing options. But they did feel, based on advice from AMP, that it was important for us to remain the flexibility to do so if it became necessary. So this is pretty much a procedural matter. And the reason for the emergency clause is in order to meet deadlines, filing deadlines for with AMP. So if there are no other questions or discussion, I would ask Jamie to call the roll.
Jeffers,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Osbacher,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
and Hollenbaugh.
Yes.
Motion passes. Ordinance 8782 is adopted.
Legislation for second reading. Ordinance number 8778 for second reading. Ordinance for cleaning of streets by special assessment. Ordinance number 8779 for second reading. Ordinance amending the zoning district map of the city of Bowling Green, Ohio for property generally known as 140 South Grove Street from S3 Planned Institutional and R2 Single Family Residential to I1 Institutional Zoning. Ordinance number 8780 for second reading. Ordinance amending and adopting Section 30.115 of the codified ordinances of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio regarding the Sidewalk Commission. Ordinance number 8781 for second reading. Ordinance amending and adopting Section 94.28 regarding litter, notice to remove, failure to comply, and Section 152.20, 152.21, 152.24, and 152.99 of the codified ordinances of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio regarding nuisances and unsafe premises. Legislation for third reading. Resolution 3733. Resolution adopting the estimate of revenues for the year 2020.
Mr. President,
Mr. Jeffers?
I move we adopt Resolution 3733.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jamie, would you please call the roll?
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Osbacher,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
and Jeffers.
Yes.
Motion passes. Resolution 3733 is adopted.
Ordinance number 3735 for third reading. Resolution authorizing the City of Bowling Green to participate in the Local Park Improvement Grant Program and to file an application and accept grant funding upon grant application approval.
Mr. President,
Ms. Rowland.
I move we adopt ordinance 3735.
I second that we adopt Resolution 3735.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Amy, would you please call the roll?
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Osbacher,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Jeffers,
Yes.
and Robinette.
Yes.
Motion passes. Resolution 3735 is adopted. That completes the items on our agenda this evening. Is there any additional business to come before council? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Let me just interrupt for a second, Mr. President. Just remind we all know that in a few days, the calendar will read July 4th. And I'd just like to remind everyone that the 4th of July is not just a day on the calendar, but it is actually the anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And I would ask that we use this time to remember that, we're truly blessed and fortunate to be Americans, and that we're the beneficiaries of the courage of our founders, because these were men and women who were willing to lay down their lives for an idea, and that is liberty. And liberty is not attained anywhere in the world except through a type of government that we have. So I wish everyone a happy signing of the Declaration of Independence anniversary.
Very good words, Greg. Thank you. So we have a motion to adjourn?
Second?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
You said we have
No,
one.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Bye-bye.
Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Bill the Turtle.